0, 1.
Hey, I'm Mike Green. I was a stand-up comedian for 38 years, which basically means I lived in a lot of hotels and worked some dive bars all over the country for many years. And now I'm trying something new with this channel. It's the Real Comedian Cast. See, I love fishing and working on my boat and doing little projects and hanging out with funny people. So the idea is to kind of mash all that stuff together and think like This Old House meets Bassmasters in a comedy club green room on a boat. And today's video is a project that I did on my classic Tracker XL. I built a deck extension and a rod locker using some of the dead space on the boat. And I figured I could put that area to good use and, put together this little project. So in full disclosure, I don't know anything about video editing or any of that stuff. I use iMovie, so, and they don't have like a dumb button on iMovie. So I lost some of the footage, of course, during my project, and I actually cut out the back of a cupboard that was on the boat, and I removed a shit ton of foam, but I'll talk more about that as the video goes on. Anyway, stick around because this channel is going to be a riot, I think, and I should have more boat projects and some fishing and me dragging my funny buddies out fishing, and we'll be on the water catching fish and busting chops. So if you're into fishing, comedy, or just watching a middle-aged guy try to figure out YouTube, like, subscribe, and come along with us for this wild ride. All right, let's get into it.
1, 2, 3.
Let's get started.
Okay, so here's what I did. I built these two frames, and I measured out the boat, the lower frame and the top frame. I used 3/4 inch aluminum. There it is. And I pop riveted the corners with these little brackets. And I did the same with the smaller bottom piece, which the bottom piece of aluminum, I duplicated this measurement here. I duplicated the inside measurement so that I think I'm gonna put this piece of aluminum, I'm gonna do the math on it, but I'm gonna figure out where to screw this, because this is solid and I could screw to it. I'm gonna screw this to the front so that it is 1 inch and I believe 11/16. I'll have to recheck the measurements, but I believe it's 1 inch and 11/16, which accounts for 3/4 of an inch for the framing, 3/4 of an inch for the plywood, and then 2/16 for the thickness of the carpet that I'm going to wrap around it, around the plywood. And it also, I added an extra 1/16 just for good measure because, rivets and staple size and all of that. But that's where I'm at. So I just made these out of top rivets and 3/4 inch aluminum, and I just measured the boat. I also extended this top piece so that in the bottom piece, so that it, I'll lift it and show you, so that, it runs all the way to here. I may even put some small pieces of this framing on the hull. I may actually drill through the hull. They'll be up high where it shouldn't be affected, and I'll use some marine grade glue. But I may actually put a piece of framing here as well, just to make absolute sure that it's sturdy and can hold, me and whoever I'm fishing with. So that's it so far, and I may also have to change the size of some of this. It may have to be a little shorter on top, or I may have to change that size, but that's it for now. Okay, so what I did was I removed this. I used a square bit to remove the previous rod holder, and I cut down that exact angle. I just followed this across, and I realized I may lose a rod, but I'm gaining 12, a rod holder, but I may even be able to use that for a spinning rod or something like that. So, but that is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to re-drill holes just so that this part's not loose, and I'll probably even throw some marine glue in those holes. And I put up this little half-inch piece of aluminum that'll hold the frame. All right, so here's where I'm at. I put a front board on, cut it like that. I don't figure that'll matter because I'm gonna wrap carpet around it. I may have to trim that on the end just to make room for the carpet. I probably have to trim a 1/16 off here and a 1/16 off there, up here, just to make sure that it fits in. But the way I have it is with the aluminum frame wrapped around it, and that's it. I mean, just throwing it together, see how it comes out. I routered this front edge just because I figure if people are stepping up on it, you don't want that to be too sharp of an edge, otherwise it'll cut the carpet. I left this exposed. That'll give it support for the lids, and then I'm going to add this aluminum that I bought. It's kind of just a small little aluminum, but I can put that, and I'll clean up the edges so nobody gets cut, but that'll hold up the lids after I do this. And hopefully I'm hoping I have a 1/4 inch there. I believe I do. It may be over a 1/4, but I don't know how thick it's going to get once I wrap the carpet. If you notice in these photos, at the top right, I had to cut an odd-shaped notch. I used a piece of cardboard. So just about everybody on YouTube mentions this, but if you notice, because I have to wrap carpet here and here, I never actually used carpet on the outer frame. I only carpeted the hatch lids. And on the sides as well, just to make sure that it's a good fit and not too snug. So I routed the top of this board, just a small little rounded end. And the reason I did that is because when I put the hinges in here, I want it to come up nice. I don't want it to catch up. Once I get that carpet on there, it may be tight. So I'm gonna do this edge as well in that top. And then I'm going to do this edge, the entire edge, because this is gonna open that way. So I'm gonna use a spray gun and spray all the parts. I'm gonna put 3 coats on. I'm gonna do 2 base coats, and then I have some really good marine grade paint that I'm gonna put on top of it. I zip tied the PVC into the board, and I used this tape, this glue tape, to secure them in. I used a wine bottle and a heat gun to shape the tops of those PVCs. So I duct taped the whole thing up, and then I took a can of the Great Stuff foam. I got the marine grade water stuff, and you can see it in there. it expanded and filled the duct tape. Pretty tight. Yeah, let's see. Shit, I don't know. Wow, that's not gonna go. Fuck. Might need a better plan. So here it is, and despite everyone on YouTube's warnings, I did run the carpet the right way on these two panels, but it appears to me that this one is reversed. Although I am running it front to back, it appears to me that the carpet's front is here and the back is there because it's two different colors. So I'm either going to remake that piece or strip the carpet off it and recarpet it. But that's it. That's the way the frame is. And this just sets in the boat. So, and then the way I have these framed in, that's going to lift like that. And I bought some struts for those and hinges. So put the hinges and struts in. But yeah, that's how it looks from that side. That's how it looks back. But remember, I put aluminum that supports this, that's connected to the boat, so those will be held up. This has more support than that. And this side, I believe I'm gonna open this way if the side of the boat will let me, and I'm gonna have to try to figure out how to put a support here. But that's where I'm at. That's it so far. So I had the issue with the front of that breaking. It cracked, so I'm just gonna rebuild the entire thing. So again, live and learn. But the front broke when I was trying to put it in, and it's just regular wood, which was a mistake. I should have used plywood. Or what I opted to do was buy a cutting board online, and it turns out that this stuff melts when you cut it, and so it was getting jammed up in the saw and making it really difficult. But a buddy of mine suggested I flip the blade around to cut this stuff, and if you turn the blade backwards, it seems to cut better. And then I routed the edge, which is, let me see, it's this edge here. And I just routed the edge just to make it look a little neater. I'll sand that down, make it look good. Now I'm gonna pop the 2-inch holes. I'm gonna make them a little bit closer so it's not as tight a fit when I go to put it in the opening, which is there. And that's it. I'm gonna retry it. This is my back piece, but I'm gonna rebuild that and hopefully do it so that if it... So I'm doing this, but you have to keep in mind that you need the 1 inch to for the aluminum, the 1 inch aluminum that's on the bottom. I leveled this so that it's below this where the top of the frame is going to be. It just fits here. If you see, it's just below that, so that it covers the entire thing. And now I'm just gonna space out the holes and re-drill these and rebuild the front. So there, now I put the frame in. And again, like I said, you see how this is. But remember, I have that bracket there that holds this, gives that, it's completely firm. I put that in. I do have to screw that in, but that's in position. It clears that top aluminum. Then, since I have no supports here, however, the board I cut for this front, which is this piece right here, fits perfectly under this lip so that it'll give it support. And then I also have boards cut for in here to add support as well. So, I mean, you know, my brother's a couple 100 pounds. He'll be able to walk on this, and you know, I'm a $160. I don't have any trouble walking on it. So that's that, and then I'll turn it back on once I put the other piece in place. Okay, so here it is now with the wood piece installed, and see how these sit right on the aluminum on the frame. And this I'll have to. It's not really holding down great, but I did leave approximately about a quarter of an inch here, just so that my carpet fits under it. One other thing I don't think I've covered in any of the videos is that when I carpeted these, I found some shelf paper, some like kind of thick, like plush. It's like this soft shelf paper, but it said it was water resistant, and I used carpet glue to hold it down. Just to make this look a little cleaner. I mean, I did have it spray painted. You know, I painted it 3 times, 3 coats, but I just like the look of this better, and so I put some shelf paper just on there. I hate to call it shelf paper because it's much nicer than that. I don't know if you can tell from the video, but that's it with my fingertips, but yeah, I can. And then like this, these will lift up. I bought some locks, and then that'll be the rod locker. These are going to flip this way. I have oh, that came off the end there. That's it. That's where I'm at. And you can see that's sturdy. It's not going anywhere. This will hold anybody. But especially once I get those the plywood under it. I'm gonna put in the plywood piece and secure it all and do all that. Now my goal is hopefully to open this to put a handle here and open this way, but that's pretty tight. I may have to finagle that a little. So, yep, and then this will hopefully open this way, like this. Well, it won't fall through when I get this all put in here correctly. But that'll open up, allowing me to get to the previous rod storage, those 4 that are in there. And then that's where it goes and how it goes. But I left room under that too for carpeting. that's it, man. It's the rod locker project / deck extension. I'm going to put lighting in it as well. Actually, I may have somebody do it. I'm not great with electrical. That's it. So again, I'm going to carpet this. And I'm going to carpet this. Screw everything in. It should be good to go. I may have to go down and dig out some more foam. I just stuck a rod in there and I don't like it. It fits, but it's, you got to shove it, you got to force it a little. So I'm going to go up and scrape out some more foam up front. I lost the video that showed me scraping out all the foam and cutting the back out of the cupboard, but ultimately I just used a multi-tool to cut out the back of the cupboard and to make space for this rod locker piece that you see here. So that's it. Now I just have to screw in the corners. And I have that 1-inch piece of aluminum underneath it because eventually the frame that I built is going to have to slide under that. So I found that every time I experimentally was using this rod holder that I would chip up the black paint. So I painted it again, let it dry, and then I've lacquered it. I put 3 coats of lacquer on it. That ought to give it some durability, and that way it won't keep chipping up. I used a gloss lacquer, so it's a little shinier than it's clear polyurethane for indoor, outdoor, 15-minute drying. That way I can put on a bunch of coats in a day. But that's it. These photos show where I cut 3/4-inch plywood and used them to support the center of my deck extension. I carpeted the fascia, and I actually put some rubber mat inside the back, and I put rubber mats inside of the shelving. I bought these brackets, but they were sharp on the corners, so I just rounded them down with a grinder just so that I'm not cutting my arm every time I reach in the boxes. I'm just going to screw this into the front. I'll just screw this in here. I'm going to snug that up there and get a couple screws in there. Stainless, of course. Ultimately, this is the only permanent thing I did. This shows 2 pop rivets that I put through the hull and used marine grade glue to secure it, but it holds up the left side of the rod lid. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you next time.